Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and last week I laid out how I kind of think that Agatha maybe hasn't been on the Witch's Road before. But Greg and I got talking about it on the podcast, and we did kind of spitball some ideas as to maybe an argument for why she could have been on the Witch's Road before. Mainly that she talks about how she's done something horrible. This comes from the trailer where the teen basically asks Agatha, like, how can you let them say all these horrible things about you? And her response is, because the truth is so much worse. We maybe start to get a picture of what that truth might be, and I think that truth then could be why she potentially has been down the Witch's Road before. The idea that we talked about is that she sacrificed her son. That's the implication of this past episode, of episode 3, is that she gave up her son to get the Darkhold. We have Jennifer Kale saying that, and we have the vision that Agatha has, where she sees the crib where the child that was crying is no longer there, and now it's the Darkhold in the crib. So it seems fairly likely that she did sacrifice her son. She sacrificed Nicholas Scratch to get more power, to get the Darkhold. And I think that she regrets it. And if she was down the Witch's Road before, it wasn't for power. That might have been what she said it was for. But I think it was an attempt to get Nicholas Scratch back. If she had gone down there before, she wanted to get Nicholas Scratch back. She wanted to get her son back. And I think things didn't go as well as she had hoped. Because the Witch's Road is kind of a mysterious and magical place, the challenges were difficult. And you need a full coven to do that. So where was her coven? Like, how did she open up the way to the road before if she didn't have a coven? I think she did have a coven. I think she did have a coven, and she sacrificed the coven. I think we see that a little bit in this episode in episode 3, she's holding back. She's kind of staying in the background, which I said was the reason why I thought she hadn't been down the road before. But it could also be because she has been down the road before, and she knows kind of an idea of what's coming. And she's hoping to be able to steal powers, maybe simplify it for herself by just getting it to be her at the very end. Maybe the teen, but I think really just getting it to be her at the very end of the Witch's Road. Because I think that's what she did the first time. She came together with some witches, probably selling them on a sob story about how the devil had stolen her son, or how she had lost her child, and she just wanted nothing more than to get her child back. Not explaining, of course, that she was the one who had set up the sacrifice of her child to be able to get him back. And I think she successfully walked the road. If that's the case, she did successfully make it to the end, and she saved her son's soul. She freed it from Mephisto. Of course, now it's stuck in a rabbit, so it's better, but still not what she wanted, because I think she went down there with a desire that was still selfish in nature. She went down there with a desire to get her son back, not because she felt so bad and she wanted her son back no matter what. I think she wanted her son back to show her power, to cheat the system, to say, I can come out ahead because I made a deal with the devil, Mephisto possibly, and I got what I wanted, the Darkhold, and now, because I have this extra power from the Darkhold, because I've stolen the power from those I've walked the road with, I'm going to be able to finish the walk and cheat death, cheat Mephisto in the end, and get Nicholas Scratch back. Of course, that went sideways, and I think she's been trying to find a solution for that since. And now, with no powers, I don't think she feels like she has a way to do that. She was accumulating as many powers as she could. Then the opportunity presented itself for her to go down the witch's road. And she didn't even want to do that, because she still has the soul of Nicholas Scratch in the bunny, so she didn't want to abandon it until it reached the point of the Salem 7 are coming after her. She knows that's going to be happening. This is now a necessity to get out of Westview, and she can't just go on the run, especially with the teen basically being attached to her side through episode 2. She didn't have the ability to just shake him and leave. And she maybe could have hidden herself, but I don't think she even could have done that truly now, because she doesn't have power, and the Salem 7 are not going to be pleased with her. They're going to track her down. They want her dead. She's only been able to stay hidden because of her power, and because she was under the spell of Wanda. She was Agnes, not Agatha. And now, maybe she'd be able to run from them, but she won't be able to protect herself from them because she has no power. The fact she has no power maybe means she could hide from the Salem 7, but she doesn't want to live on the run. That's not who Agatha Harkness has been set up to be. Agatha Harkness is somebody who wants power. And so she is now walking the witch's road to get power back again, to be able to protect Nicholas, to be able to potentially bring Nicholas's soul back to a human form. But that's just kind of the theory. And I do have like one last little twist on it, because I think it could be an interesting twist on who she killed on the witch's road, who was in that original coven. Because there's some of the breakdown people are talking about the crib that has like this really nice embroidery. It looks like it'd be a newer crib than, say, from her Salem days. It seems like Nicholas may be a more recent-ish child. So she was dabbling in dark stuff before, and then heard about an even darker power sometime in between the Salem witch trials and WandaVision. Probably, I don't know, let's say mid-1900s, like mid-early 1900s is when this happened. And she recruited some people to go with her on the path. And I think her going on the path might have even been more recent than that. I think it could have been involving one of the other characters' parents. I think it could have been Alice's mother, who was one of the people who went down the witch's road. Because we get the vision that Alice has as well, where she sees her mother, and her mother talks about how she felt it when Alice's grandmother passed away. Like it just happened, and she felt it from thousands of miles away. So Alice doesn't know what happened to her mother. She didn't feel that sort of death. If that can be felt across the world, it makes sense that something happened to Lorna elsewhere. And we know that allegedly she walked the road. What if she was one of the people who walked with Agatha, and she was walking it to try and escape the demon who basically kills the women in the family line because of the family curse? What if it's that? So she's walking the road with Agatha. Like I said, I think Agatha steals everybody's powers. And she leaves their souls basically trapped there. Like they are dead, but still kind of this metaphysical, the spirit existence that is maintained of a witch's spirit along the witch's road. Now, I don't really have, well, I was going to say I don't really have a strong reason for saying that, except the Witch's Road comic, in which the Scarlet Witch walks the road and she finds her mother's spirit along the road. So she interacts with that spirit. So it doesn't seem like a spirit necessarily disappears when they go along the road. So I'm wondering if there's going to be some connection to some of these other characters. If Agatha has walked the road before, to be able to then piece together like why maybe these other witches were drawn to that 3-mile radius that Agatha was in, or maybe why Agatha was hanging out in that 3-mile radius with them, because there doesn't seem to be a need, but also with the pep talk in quotes, that she gives Jennifer Kale. She says that she could have gone after her, but she was doing good work. So I'm wondering if there's some reason why Agatha feels like maybe a sense of guilt or something else that connects her to the group, which is why she would stay close to them and why she'd be willing to maybe go down the road with them. Of course, this is all based off of the idea that she has been down the road before, which I'm not sold on. So what do you think? Do you think Agatha has been down the witch's road before? Or do you think that this is just a first time and kind of this wild theory of why she might have gone down the road the first time? Do you think that makes sense? Leave that comment on that down in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this content, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and check out the podcast where we talk about this and other questions, comments, conundrums, mysteries from Agatha All Along episode 3. You can find it here on YouTube. Click onto the channel and then the podcast tab, or wherever your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But with that, we'll see you next time.